chemical warfare. The words may conjure up different images and places. And now, there's a new front in this warfare, right inside the United States. A powerful drug is taking more and more American lives every year. That drug is fentanyl. What is fentanyl? It's an opioid like morphine. Fentanyl is used in medical fields. It's synthetic, cheap, and 100 times more potent than morphine. There are also many similar versions of fentanyl called analogs. One analog called carfentanil can be up to 10,000 times stronger than morphine. Further, analogs are relatively easy to make for fentanyl producers. So, just how potent is fentanyl? For most people, only 2 milligrams of fentanyl is a lethal dose, and more people are coming into contact with it every year. The first spike of fentanyl-related overdose deaths was in 2006. Every year since 2012, fentanyl has killed more and more Americans. Almost 30,000 people died from fentanyl in 2017. With more and more deaths, that begs the questions. Where's it coming from? How's it getting in? And who's responsible for it? Reports from the US government say the largest source of illegal fentanyl is China. China sends fentanyl to the United States either through the mail or through Mexico and Canada. For example, in August 2019, US law enforcement seized 66 pounds of fentanyl that was intended to be distributed in Virginia. Federal prosecutors said most of it came through the mail from China. But the seizure was small compared to a shipment bound for Mexico. Also in August, a cargo ship was found to be secretly loaded with 52,000 pounds of fentanyl. It was headed for Culiacan, home base of the Sinaloa cartel. The shipment came from one of China's largest cities, Shanghai. That's 26 tons of fentanyl. How lethal is that? If that shipment made it into the country, and if 2 milligrams is fatal, then that would be 36 lethal doses for every person in the United States. So why is this happening? Of course, one reason is money. In China, buying 1 kilogram or over 2 pounds of fentanyl can cost $5,000. In the United States, that can then be sold for $1.5 million. That's according to Paul Neerum, the Deputy Chief of Operations of the DEA. On the other hand, the Chinese Communist regime dodges the blame for contributing to the opioid crisis and faults the United States. In December 2018, at the G20 summit, the Chinese regime agreed to help stem the flow of fentanyl into the United States. Then, in May 2019, the regime included fentanyl analogs as banned narcotics. But many US officials and experts doubt that the regime is interested in stopping it. Representative Chris Smith from New Jersey said, "It doesn't take much for a police state like China, if it's serious, to crack down. They certainly crack down on dissent, they crack down on labor unions. Their abilities there are incredible." Some experts say that the Chinese regime is deliberately allowing fentanyl to reach the United States as a form of chemical warfare. The Chinese military published a book titled Unrestricted Warfare. The book gives methods to destabilize a society, such as drug warfare and political infiltration. Dr. Robert J. Bunker, an adjunct research professor at the U.S. Army War College Strategic Studies Institute, said the strategy of drug warfare aligns with the book's tactics. Jeff Nyquist, a researcher of Chinese and Russian strategy, described how China could use this tactic.
It opens up a number of opportunities for the penetration of the country, both in terms of those laundering money and in terms of blackmail against those who participate in the trade and become corrupt, like law enforcement, intelligence, government officials. By getting people addicted, a large number of people addicted to opiates, that you can then start introducing this sort of thing, then becomes not only you kill off people that way, but you also create a market for your own to get money. It's a very effective tool.
So, what's being done? In September 2019, the US government announced $2 billion in funding to the states to combat the opioid crisis. President Trump also ordered all US mail carriers to search for and refuse international mail deliveries that contain fentanyl. Fentanyl has also been brought into the US-China trade war. The United States wants China to stop fentanyl as part of a trade deal. Congress also passed the STOP Act in 2018 to help combat the opioid crisis. It required the USPS to collect information on all mail sent from China, including the sender's details and package contents. But still, more can be done to put up our defenses and save more American lives.